Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. What's up, gamers? Today we are going to continue with Rise from the Ashes. We are very close to the end of this chapter now, which has been a long time coming. At the start of this, when I said this was a long chapter, I was not kidding. It is very long. So, we're going into the final day, as you could see at the very beginning. I just completely forgot to read the green text, but it's fine, it's not all that necessary. This is the defendant lobby, alright? But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? I don't know, man. Probably partying somewhere, you never know. And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Who's talking? Ah, there's Edgeworth. Edgeworth! And you've already figured it out. I haven't. It's been, I don't remember how long it's been since the last time I recorded, but it's been long enough that I've once again forgotten everything that has happened recently, which happens every time that I record again, but we're just gonna ignore that. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch, right? We, basically concluded last time that Gant is a little suspicious. He's a little suspicious. Sorry, I have a water bottle because sometimes when I'm recording I get thirsty because I talk a lot. And I'm currently struggling to open it because I have to hold my microphone with one hand and it's not easy to open a water bottle one-handed. But it's fine, we'll make it through. Right, pretty strong hunch. Strong hunch, I mean, pretty much certain that Gant is up to something here. Yep, there he is, the man himself. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there is still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In the event once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. It's the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SO9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. Have you forgotten your trial back in December, Edgeworth? Because we solved that right as the statute of limitations on your father's murder case was about to run out. Hope you didn't forget about that. That depends on you. In fact, that happened even longer ago than the SL9 incident, so... If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. By which he means, I've already made up my mind, I just don't want to admit that you're right. See you in court, right? I mean, you're seeing me right now, but... whatever. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Man, Lana, the defendant, hasn't even arrived yet. I don't have Emma by my side. That's not right. Oh no, my controller. Sorry, I almost dropped it, but I caught it, so it's fine. I caught it, therefore everything is okay. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Man, it's been a while since we were in the courtroom. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. You mean Gant? Chief Gant. He just materialized out of thin air. Skin as orange as ever. Morning, folks, how's everyone doing? Hey, Edgy, been back to the pool yet? You're acting way too friendly for a man who's about to be accused of murder. Hate to say it, dude, but that's what I'm about to do. No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Haha, that's a good one, don't think I can top that. Well, you did murder someone, so... If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? I don't like when he goes silent. That never means anything good. Lana, that is to say, the defendant has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. Is that so? She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Did she make this decision freely, or did you put her up to it, Mr. Gant? What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? Excuse me, I'm standing right here, your defense attorney who's been trying very, very hard to defend you. I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana, that's not what you were supposed to say. Objection! Already not looking very good for Miss Lana Skye over here. You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. You're just firing me on the spot? But Lana, Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. That's never a good thing to hear when you're a defense attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. That's a light way of putting it, my guy. Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise, I feel very strongly otherwise. My entire reputation's on the line here. You see, if she gets declared guilty, I'll lose my 100% win streak. And I can't have that happening, Your Honor. I take pride in the fact that I have never once... I'm struggling to screw the cap back on the bottle. I take pride in the fact that I have never once lost a case, Your Honor. So, you see... This can't be happening. Oh, it's happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Objection! One moment, Your Honor. While the judge took quite a bit of time to say the verdict, Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, You don't sound very nice right now, my guy. I don't like your attitude. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Don't act so surprised, man. Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. Well, it seems like you do, my dude. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Well, that's a surprise. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. That's a little rude, but you know what, we'll let it slide this time. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. That sounds like a pretty direct threat, my dude. Anyone want to arrest this man on the spot? Because he sounds like he just made a pretty substantial threat. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Is she in the courtroom already? Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. I mean, when does he not, you know? This is just how it is. Now then, witness. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Wanda's older sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the... Sorry, I felt like I had to burp. Of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. Understandable. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. I change Edward's voice with every other word that he says. I can't decide on one way for him to speak. But it's fine. I'm just quirky like that, you know? Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Oh, it's very relevant, Your Honor. Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast. He always does. This judge doesn't have a spine. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The background fades away. I'm in the void now. Oh god, how'd I get here? The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. More like yesteryear. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Shit gets wild. I'm gonna say that now. This trial, it gets pretty fucking wild. Not gonna say too much details, because spoilers, obviously. And it has been more than 2 years at this point since I've first played this game, but it doesn't change the fact that this gets wild. Sorry, just had to drink some more water real quick, because I like to drink water, stay hydrated, you know? I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Emma, look, I know it was very traumatizing for you, and I don't doubt that your memories are a little mixed up, but, unfortunately for you, that doesn't match the autopsy report. So, I already see a problem there. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? Everything. Absolutely everything. That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. I have all the evidence. Because apparently I have to do all the investigating around here. I have to be not only a defense attorney, but also a criminal investigator. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Sorry, I was looking at the guide. Okay, so apparently I don't do what I think I was supposed to do. Whatever, it'll be fine. The statement. Okay. So press here. The guide is... I assume the first thing I would have to do is present Neil's autopsy report, which he said that he was stabbed in the chest, because the report says he was stabbed in the back, but the guide does not say to do that. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on dark, just then the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. That's happened to me a few times in the past month. I think it's like 3 or 4 times my power has gone out. Twice because of a storm, and twice, I think one was because, like, someone was just driving and hit something and the power went out. And unless that was another time, and I'm, like, getting things mixed up, and then there's a time when the power went off early in the morning, and I don't even know what happened there. Like, there was no storm at the time, I don't know why the power went off then. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yeah, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. Obviously. Anytime you have an option to, like, object or press for more information, like, 90% of the time, you object or press for more information. That seems to be a recurring thing with this game. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago.
Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw.
Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yeah, I think she mentioned that before. She did. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Well, you see. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, right, because we have the other half of the evidence list, because Gant was, like, whoops, not what I meant. Oh, interesting. Oh, very interesting. Well, let's first, get that cleared up. Picture is drawn in the back of the evidence list in magic marker. How do you know it's magic marker just from looking at it? It could just be Sharpie. Got a very bad feeling about this. I didn't do that earlier. Better late than never, you know? Right, okay, present evidence list. Objection! I object. On what grounds? You're about to find out. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor, as I just did 20 seconds ago. Turn it over, turn it... Ah, what's this? Why are you getting so scared? It's a drawing in Sharpie. Calm down. Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Emma's hair looks very shiny from the back. It's very shiny. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. Your Honor, please step down from your position as a judge. Please. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Well, why don't you ask Mr. Gant over there? Because I found it in his office. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. I mean, he did say that evidence lists usually run like twice as long as the one he had, so... These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? I know, it's very shocking. Very, very surprising. Order, order! But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. That's the only paper I had.
What else was I supposed to draw it on? Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor? Oh, you were right, Mr. Wright. Your eyes are bulging from your head. That sounds like a medical problem. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing in the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Well, that's a shocker. Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth? It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Just look at his face and... whatever kind of noise he's making, just sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn in the back of my wrist. It's that thing. That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Yeah, the boy badger. Clearly this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Okay, she just said ellipses out loud. Very well. Witness, would you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? And we will... hang on.
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Okay, and we'll hear the next part of her testimony in the next video. This seems like a pretty decent place to cut it off. I originally was gonna, like, do the whole thing in one video, but longer videos take forever to edit and upload, because I don't have good internet. My internet sucks. So, we'll just do this in the next video, and we'll see how this turns out. So, have a good day. Drink some water. Pet a dog if you have a dog, or a cat if you have a cat. Eat some food. Get a good night's sleep. And we'll see you later.